Hey, cycle breakers and barrier breakers alike. Welcome to the Fuck That Bullshit Podcast, where we advocate, educate, motivate, and create a safe space for you to embrace the mental wealth of marginalized and disenfranchised communities. We are serving no bullshit knowledge, tools, strategies, and insights. And yes, we will be entertaining. Our goal each episode is for you to leave feeling empowered, ready to take action and make meaningful choices that pave the way to your abundant mental wealth. So enjoy, like, subscribe, share, and discuss. Make sure you save it too, just in case you want to look back at it and get some more tips and things. The PTBS Podcast is for education, empowerment, and inspiration. It is not a substitute for therapy or professional mental health care. If you're in need of additional support, please reach out to a licensed mental health provider. Warning: the Fuck That Bullshit Podcast is intended for mature audiences only. This podcast contains raw, unfiltered conversations about mental health, social issues, and breaking generational cycles. We keep it real, unapologetic, and explicit because healing and empowerment require honesty. We're going to have strong language and adult themes, unfiltered discussions on race, identity, and mental wealth, challenging bullshit narratives without censorship. So if you're easily offended, this might not be for you, and it's definitely not for kids. But if you're ready for bold, barrier-breaking conversations that empower, educate, and entertain, tap in and let's fuck that bullshit together. Let's go. Hey. Welcome to the Fuck That Bullshit Podcast. How my bro-hams doing?
I am awesome.
Right. You're awesome.
Doing great.
Everybody had a good week?
Oh, yeah. It was good. It was good. Yeah. Hey, make screen bigger. I'm that big.
You tiny?
Oh, wow. Yeah. You
shouldn't be tiny. Let's play around here. You still tiny?
Now it's just you big.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
I wonder why you're so tiny.
I don't. It's still on the smaller screen. You know when you first go in.
Oh,
yeah, that'll work. That'll work.
Screen. That's on you.
Oh, well, damn.
Open your screen up.
My screen is open.
You sure?
Oh wait, look at that. There you go.
We figuring this stuff out, y'all. We figuring this stuff out. That's right. Live at a time. Hope everybody out there is feeling good, looking good. You know, everything is fly. You know, my week was a little bit tough. I lost a client this week. You know, one of my clients actually passed away. And,
man.
You know, and she was cool people and all that. So I had a little bit of sadness in the beginning, you know, and helping the family, you know, work through it and all that kind of stuff is what I do. But it also reminded me, because it's the second client that I've had pass in the last couple of years. And it kind of pisses me off systemically because they teach us to be so stoic and tell us like, you know, we ain't supposed to be feeling nothing, this and that. And according to the guidelines, I should just close out her chart and all that. But like,
move on. Yeah.
Sad. Like,
nah. That's a human being, man.
Exactly. You know, and then people don't realize that in therapy, that's a place where people bare their soul. And so I knew her more intimately than some people might ever, you know. So I know some stuff that people don't know. And so that makes that the bond is tight, you know.
Right.
You know, so I just wish her family well and all that. And I got their back just like I had hers, you know.
Right.
So, and that's what makes us different.
You're a great person there, but they just want you to be a robot, you know.
Exactly.
Listen to what they got to say and spit out answers.
Right.
Give you a big hand.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know. And remember, that's for everybody out there that is grieving anyone or anything. Feel your damn feelings, man. Like, I don't care what profession you're in. I don't care what the books say and all that. Feel your feelings because we are humans.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, because when I was working in nursing home, one of the residents passed. I was upset there to send me home.
right.
You get attached to them people. You spend
You
all
know,
day with
they're
them,
people.
talking to them. Right? They're human beings. They're not work. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's not work. This people. It's people. You know. So many ups and heart goes out to all those who are brokenhearted right now. And tonight we're talking about willful ignorance.
Yep. When you choose to be stupid, to not acknowledge what is right in front of you. You know, you see it, but you just say, that ain't what it is.
You don't want to see it, so you ignore it. Yeah,
that
is what we're doing tonight.
I'll say what Brian didn't want to say. When you choose to be stupid.
Okay. Yeah.
When you choose
so we
to
keep
be
it 100
stupid.
here.
Yeah.
So that's the real deal. If you see something, you know something, you hear something, but you choose not to use the thing, it's
right. I'm telling you, man.
That's not good choices, people.
Yep.
So here goes some other people that kind of gave you some definitions.
Willful ignorance is a great way to purposefully move in the wrong direction. Willful ignorance is a great way to purposefully move in the wrong direction. Think about it. You're gaining weight, but you refuse to track or monitor your food intake. Willful ignorance. You're constantly struggling with money, but you don't want to look at your bank account every day or check your budget. Willful ignorance. You're struggling in your relationships, but you don't want to have the tough conversations that might bring to light some of the things about you that are actually bothering people. Willful ignorance. Willful ignorance is a great way to purposefully move in the wrong direction. So in what capacities of your life are you remaining willfully ignorant? And is it getting you the result that you want?
Those are very intelligent questions. But before we answer them, I have one more clip, and she has my favorite definition. I love this girl.
Willful ignorance is when somebody know better and they keep doing the thing that you said you don't like them to do, right? And you're just like, you're exercising willful ignorance at this point. Like, you know that this is something that is going to drive me crazy and you keep doing it and acting as if you didn't know. See, that's the part. The part where they act as if they didn't know. Cause listen, people forget. Bad habits are hard to break, right? If you always been on some weirdness and then somebody's like, hey, I don't like that. That's weird. And you're like, oh, okay, got you. But like, you always been on some weirdness, then it's going to be tough for you to all of a sudden be like, cut the weirdness. I get that. But when someone brings it to your attention, you would be like, oh man, I'm trying to shake that weirdness, but I can't shake it. I get it. However, when the person acts like, what are you talking about? Now we've stepped into the light of gas. Okay.
The light of gas. Gaslight.
Yep.
Yeah, I like her. I
love her so much. So do y'all have experiences here? Like, when is the last time you ask somebody to do the thing and they just keep doing it?
Hey man, I can admit I've been willfully ignorant in some parts of my life. Yeah, I mean, it's some stuff that I've seen, growing up, doing stuff, and like, I've heard people say, "Oh, great, you so and so and so and so," and I'm like, "No, I'm not," but I know I am. I know I am. Somebody told me I was like super arrogant, and I really was. I really was. I'd throw you out my house in a heartbeat if you just got on my nerves. And I just refused to hear what she was saying. Like, no, I'm not. But then it took me meeting somebody. You meet that person, you really trying to feel them, and then they leave you because you were super arrogant. It's like,
yeah,
maybe I was, man. Maybe
that's good when you connect. Like, the willful ignorance is an arrogant thing.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah. I mean, I've been in experiences where I've asked somebody, I'm like, hey, don't, why do you do that? Because when you do that, you know how it makes me feel. And boy, they just keep on doing it. And it's worse when people don't even acknowledge that they doing what they're doing. You know, they'll blow right by what you won't even acknowledge what you say. You know, you don't even get a response when you say it. And in your mind, you know, boy, they're gonna keep on doing that. You know what I'm saying? And you already know. And that's when you either gonna take it or not. You know,
yeah, you gotta make some choices.
And even from a health standpoint, you know, my favorite libation is Southern Comfort. Shout out to Southern Comfort. Upset stomach every night. And I said to myself, I wonder if it's the liquor. And I was like, it can't be the liquor. That shit from New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? Kept on drinking up 2-3 hours, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Ignorance.
Yep. Sipping on a Diet Coke, like, oh, I got to take better care of myself, you know. So, and I think that last definition was the perfect definition. I mean, you know what it is. You know, you know what it is half the time. And just when somebody bring it out to you, you choose not to do nothing. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, and I can see my willful ignorance in relationships. And all that, because you know, you see a thing ain't right, you know it ain't right. Everything is telling you it ain't right.
Right.
You still stay there. You know, like, and then after you out of it, you're like, I don't know why I stayed, because you chose to be ignorant. You didn't want to see what was there because you wanted the thing worse. You know, way worse than you wanted to leave. Right. You know. So, So that brings me to part of the reason it is hard is a thing called cognitive dissonance. And that is when your belief system is being challenged. And so when people's belief system, and a belief system is way deeper than just, oh, this is what it's not surface level, it's deep. It's what you believe at the core, right? And all that. And when that's being challenged and you can recognize that the thing is wrong, then that makes you question yourself. Like, what do I believe versus what it really is, right? And so that means you got to nobody likes to be wrong, first of all. Let's talk about that. You know, nobody wants to be wrong. And we're always taught that being wrong is wrong, right?
Right.
And it makes you sad and it gets you upset. You know, you're a failure because you're wrong and all that. But like, this life is trial and error, and you can't grow unless you change those belief systems. When you do, everything is yours. But is that the truth? Right. No, everything don't belong to you.
Exactly.
You got to throw some cognitive dissonance in there for that kid and be like, no, see, that's mine and this is yours, right? And so learning, and developing, and figuring out, you know, what the next truth is, right? And so when you jack somebody up with, you know, no, he don't really like you, he don't like you, and you're like, no, but he gotta like me because you want him to like you so bad, then you fuck up the whole system, right? One big area societally we see this is those folks. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm saying? White people. And the dissonance with regard to what happens to Black people, how we live, the systemic stuff, slavery even. It's just wasn't that bad. Y'all just like, why y'all can't get over it? Why? It's not that deep. Yeah. It's not that deep. You know, and all that. And that for one pisses me off. Fuck that. Fuck all that. You know. What you do with people like that?
Beat them. But that's what you feel like doing.
That is what you feel like.
Yeah, jail don't work for us. So let's not do the jail. But but there's kind of like not much you can do with them because the education is there, the information is there, and it's worse yet because they know they know what they saying ain't right to a certain extent. But when you hit them with too much truth, they just hit you with the nobody alive today was ever a slave or a slave owner. And my response is simply like, motherfucker, everybody Black alive today is still feeling the residual effects of slavery. And this entire economy is still benefiting from the residual effects of slavery. So yeah, it's still here. It's still here. It's something that ain't shit changed. But there's not much you can do with them because you know they know. They know. And it's like having an argument over the telephone. They can hang up on your ass at any time. So you can't win that.
Right.
Okay, but what about the ones that really believe that truth? They are some of them out here who've been getting fed this same information for like 2-3 generations.
Right.
To get to the point to where it's just ingrained in them. They didn't heard it from their great grandparents. They didn't heard it from their grandparents, uncles, aunties, the church. They didn't heard it from all of these people. And they believe it's their birthright to be where they're at. And to them, slavery wasn't a big thing because
it ain't happened to them.
it didn't happen to them.
Because that's what it boiled down to.
Exactly.
Yeah. I've spoken with some white people who I can tell just by the conversation in their hearts, they believe that this shouldn't be a big deal. It shouldn't be nothing. Why are you making a big deal out of this? You able to go where you want. You able to do what you want to do. If you want to go work at JP Morgan Chase, you can go work at JP Morgan Chase. Yeah, I can go work at JP Morgan Chase, but I'll never be the CEO of JP Morgan Chase.
Right.
No matter how many degrees and years of experience I got, I'll never be that because, like you said a minute ago, the residual effects of slavery is keeping me from getting to that top spot.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. There's nothing you can really do. Like for somebody, and if they feel like it's been ingrained in them and that's just who they are, and they believe what they believe, and there ain't no change in that. Beat their ass. You know what I mean? Like it ain't gonna change shit. It ain't gonna change a fucking thing. But you're gonna feel so good afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I mean. There's no way around that because the truth is there. It's literally every freaking way you go. And you can either say, I'm gonna listen to these old videos from James Baldwin, or I'm gonna listen to Kodak Black. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna judge Black people either based off this thing or based off the other thing. You know both things are there. You know what I'm saying?
Right. This is the truth.
Right.
But I'm gonna say this. Brian's right. It will feel good if you beat him, but you end up in jail. So leave him alone.
Oh yeah. No, right. I forgot. Don't beat nobody. Not encouraging that.
Don't condone violence.
Encouraging that at all.
These are jokes.
I was upset. I was upset a little bit. My apologies.
Your job is to your emotions, though, because you got to get them out, right?
I'm an emotional creature.
Ain't shit that was in. You got to come out, your baby. Right. But you can leave them alone, though. You have to disconnect yourself from people that refuse to hear and that refuse to be bothered with the truth, right? But it still needs to be challenged every opportunity. It should be, right? As you said, their entire worldview hinges on accepting their reality. So for one thing has to be false. All of it has to be false. And one pill is easier to swallow. The ignorance one. It's easier. It's easier, right? Yeah. If I have to change a thing, right? If I have to say, I have to accept that racism is alive and people are still being affected by it, then am I participating in the thing? Do I need to check myself? Because people will also walk around feeling like I'm nice to Black people and brown people. but you could be a nice racist. You absolutely can.
Yeah, fact.
Yeah, I know a lot of nice racists.
Me too.
I work with some. I know a lot of them.
Right, but I mean, even when you look at that, you look through history. Let's go all the way back to slavery.
Mm-hmm.
Them white dudes was they was hitting that black booty. You understand what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Them white women was riding that black slave thong.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The hatred wasn't so bad that that white man couldn't recognize that that's a big fine woman. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, there's always been nice races now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hate y'all today, but come on in this shack. You know?
Right.
You know?
Right. You know. But then I'm gonna hit you with the therapeutics out of that though. Rape is not about cooch as much as it is.
Oh yeah. I know it's 100% about power,
So,
but trust and believe me when I say
you still had to be attracted.
Exactly. You can't tell me that there was no. I mean, and these was like straight out of Africa, big fine black chocolate ass women. You can't tell me some slave, no, some white person in that environment didn't have that crush.
Of course,
you know what I mean. It happened. You know what I mean. Go on Pornhub and type interracial sex. It's everywhere. You understand what I'm saying? Not all interracial couples are about convenience. Some of them are actually those two people just fell in love. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So it's always been a thing, but it's because the truth is we're all freaking people. We just fucking human beings. You know what I'm saying? We have far too many made up as narratives. You know what I mean? From I got more melanin, you have less melanin. Let's have a problem. You know what I'm saying? And Ukraine invaded Russia. It's like any fucking thing. It's like, oh, here's a notepad. Let's argue about it. It's that, and all somebody has to say is, if somebody have a notepad, you got to watch and say no more than that. Willful ignorance kick in. It's like, man, you got to watch them people with them notepads, with no evidence of any fucking thing. You know what I'm saying?
Because Rochelle just said that in the comments in my favorite grad school class, the professor said to a very homogeneous class that it doesn't matter how many exes that go against the stereotype. If they see one reinforcement, example, they go against stereotype, they see one reinforcement is a good stereotype. Right. Yep. And that's how they've been able to keep this narrative that black people are this, or, black people are ignorant, or black people, all you need is one. And every time the news come on and there's a report, they grab that one to show to the masses. And now everybody, talking the same. Everybody, that's how they be right there.
Yeah.
And forget that there's a cajillion of us that's not that, right? But that's the example you chose to attach yourself to and to decide that's the monolith right there. That's all of us, right?
Yeah.
It's because it's easier. It's easier.
I mean,
and it keeps them in the hierarchy, at least feelings wise. I get to feel like somebody's, like I said the other week, without racism, the white community in general is nothing. They just regular people at that point, so they need it.
I can feel that.
But I mean,
if we flip it to the other side, I'm sorry, go ahead, Fred.
No, I was saying on that same subject, Brian said something a couple of weeks ago about how white America always like to show white people as the hero.
Right.
Using that example, when they show us on TV, we robbing liquor stores. When they show white people on the news, they jumping into 50-foot deep lakes, saving some kid from the alligator in Florida.
Right. Yeah. I mean, our narrative has always been, and more of a negative narrative. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Like I call them nigger movies. Those movies with all black cast. And we either in one or two, we either on the corner, in jail, or in church.
Yeah.
We always in those areas, and that's why, I missed the times when we was talking about Love Jones and all that was out. And that's why I was like, that's when we was black, because we got to be just regular people that are doing well. And it's not about us doing well. We're just regular people doing
well. Right.
Because when you have the blacks that's doing well currently, it's all about how much money they got. You look at power, you look at what every damn thing Tyler Perry do. You know what I mean? It's about wealth. You know what I mean? And again, it's chasing that dream. And people that say, well, that's black excellence. Well, that's willful fucking ignorance, because that's not black excellence. That's white imitation. And we don't need that to be, you know what I'm saying, to be somebody,
Right. Because that is the narrative. Like your success, our success is based on what their definition is. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it has to do with wealth building and, but like we thrive very well just being community builders, right? Because we look out for each other, Oh, they watched I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. That was a good move. I'm Gonna Get You Sucker.
You got it. You grab it?
Yeah. But like, and of course, in every movie genre, all the stuff has their place, right? Because I'm Gonna Get You Sucker was a funny movie. It was good. It was all those are real good, However, that's not all we can be,
right?
And all that. And for me, it was a lot of them was funny because we were able to poke fun at ourselves, right? Which is okay for us to poke fun at ourselves. But if the masses look at that and be like, okay, that's what they are, then that's the issue. That's the issue.
Right. That is good. That is good, because you know what?
In their whole family and
as I read it.
Oh my God, you're so right.
Yep. Because right as I was reading that, I was like, damn, that is true. Because and not real recent, maybe last year, this guy in California, he killed his family. And but all the photos they showed was of them as a family doing family shit. So and again, it's the same thing. Make the black man look like the criminal, make the white guy, even though he did some foul shit, let's make him more sympathetic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you get to look at him as a human.
Yep. Yeah.
He was going through
not as an animal.
It's all that. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And our young boys are always called men way too early.
Oh man. You know what? That's a whole nother show, because I was just telling Jaden about
writing that down.
Yep. I was just talking to Jaden about that because a friend of mine, she was talking to not was a friend of my son's mother, and she was like, he was crying, and she was like, "Man up, boy, men don't cry, man." I said, first of all, he's 5,
right?
He ain't a goddamn man, and he just got in trouble, so he's upset. So he should be crying. Now, you know what I'm saying?
This is appropriate.
Who the fuck are you? You know
right.
what I'm saying?
Yep. And I was just talking to somebody earlier about the same thing with women and how, black girls are sexualized way before time, right?
Yep.
And all that, where you got a 12-year-old, 11-year-old, 10-year-old, and you're putting the responsibility on her. Girl, go take them shorts off. Why? Because your uncle coming over here, but that's my uncle, and he shouldn't be looking at her like that.
Thank you.
And so don't put the responsibility on the kid for that. Like if those shorts were appropriate to hang around before uncle came over there, then it should be appropriate, period. Right? So if they're inappropriate for uncle, then they're inappropriate for the house. Period. Right? And all that. Michelle says also if they didn't do criminal things to get on the news, like getting murdered by the 5-0, they would dredge up that you got a C in middle school social studies. You are not
exactly. I've seen that.
She's right.
Yeah, because I've seen where this dude, cops killed him, and then it was like, in 1994, he was pulled over by police for
you're like, what?
A broken head, like what the fuck that gotta do with shit? That's a ticket.
When my older daughter, my older biological child, was in 6th grade. She got into a fight. She did a good job. She was fed up that day, sick of this and all that. But they filed charges, right? Like not the people, but the state,
The
city,
school.
whatever, right?
All right, yeah.
And she ended up on probation that summer. And so the probation officer told her, and he was Hispanic, and the probation officer told her that it would get expunged from her record as long as she didn't get in trouble again before she made 18, right?
Right.
And I told her, and he reinforced it after I told it to her. I said, even after you 18, if you get in trouble again, this will come up. I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
They say it's gonna be expunged, but let your black ass get in some more trouble. They will pull from the 6th-grade record in an effort to convict you for whatever the hell it is and use it as history. Proof in history that you're a delinquent. And you had one really good fight that you got in trouble for.
Exactly.
Because that's how they treat us. That's all they said. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot. 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 It's a lot.
Hey, I want to send a shout out to James. He said hello. So I'm, what's up? What's up, James? Yeah. James is in the building. James is in the damn building. Praise Black Jesus.
James said that was him with the I gotta see in middle school.
Oh, and
yeah, probably so, man. But it happened. Y'all watch ESPN, and every time a black athlete gets in trouble, just watch. Right. You'll see it on the regular. The kid that got the scholarship and then did something stupid and ended up losing his scholarship. They never talk about how good of a kid he was. Right. Always talk about all the stuff that he did.
Right.
Exactly. Every single time.
He peed on himself until he was 8 years old. We knew this kid was headed for trouble.
We knew then that he would end up like this.
Yeah, because I see it all the time on there when the little boy and the white kid get in trouble. Oh, I can't believe that, they said that he did this. He was such a great kid. He went to school and
that boy been cutting up this
10-hour job. Yeah, and probably in school just a freaking menace.
Right. Yeah. But they're not gonna call that out. They're not gonna call that out and all that. So the lesson of that, people, is be careful of the narrative that you're being fed.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna feed you what they want you to hear, and that's what pisses me off too. Because especially people that I get that are closer to me and all that. If I'm telling you this narrative is wrong, and I'm an example, and I have all of these examples. You know what I'm saying? My two brothers here are examples. You know what I'm saying? My boo, an example. Like there are all these examples of great men, and then you go, because men ain't shit, ain't none of them. Cognitive dissonance. You being willfully ignorant. You just dealing with your own junk to an extent that you just don't want to see the good in other people.
Right. Yeah. Right. But I saw something kind of similar to that. I was watching it. It was Joe Budden's. They was talking about I don't know the girl named Doshi.
Doshi.
I never heard. I just know she liked to rap in her drawers. I know that. I think that's what she wanted me to know. She had her drawers on stage. So that's what I know about. But
she's more than just a pair of drawers. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah, it was some nice drawers though. Nice. They look comfortable, breathable to you. But she was somebody asked her a question about what's a red flag for in her relationships. And she wrote something down, boom, she raised it up and it said straight men. So I was confused because I ain't get it, but I don't, like I say, I don't know her background, I don't know how she do, but they were talking about it. And one of the guys on the panel was like, no, I mean, I understand what she's saying because she don't, if that's not what she into. And then Joe was constantly explaining a red flag is something you're already involved in, and then you see something, or you're about to get involved in something, you see something, you go, it's a caution. if she don't fool with straight men at all, then how can it be a red flag? If you meet a man and you straight, yeah, boom. There was no red flag.
There was no red flag.
There nothing happened. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So dude went 10 toes down that's not what it is. And I'm like, God damn. I mean, to the point of almost an argument. And I said, dang, that's some willful ignorance. It was such a bullshit topic. So I wasn't even looking for nothing more. I was not bullshit topic, just some shit I ain't interested in. But but I was like, damn, that's willful ignorance is that simple. And it could be that light. Yeah. And I mean, even to the point where he couldn't even explain it no more. Because he knew
like, I ain't right. Evidence in the opposite.
Right.
He had nothing else to say.
Yeah, he had nothing else to say.
That's what happens when you are explaining something to somebody and they choosing not to. You give them all the evidence and they run out of excuses or validations for themselves and everything, but they still choose the lie.
That's when they hit you with, well, that's just how I feel about it.
That's how I feel about it, and that's it. Okay, cool.
That's when they turn it into an argument, so you can just stop talking to them.
Yeah, except
they get loud. Yeah, they get loud. People who feel a certain way about something, like if that's how they feel in their core, they will listen to you. They'll listen to your explanation and why. Willfully ignorant people, once you start hitting them with facts, and like you say, when they run out of stuff, the usual stuff that they say, they get loud. Their defense mechanism kick in. They get loud because if I get loud, then you're gonna run away. No, I just want you to answer my question.
Yeah. And if they're a white woman, they're gonna cry.
Yeah. And they'll fall down. They'll fall. If they fall down and cry, just walk off. Just walk.
Because and don't get me wrong, I'm a therapist. We should all use our tears appropriately, but not to justify your stupidity.
Right.
Not to justify you not wanting to see the truth or deal with the truth.
Yeah.
You know, because if you're gonna stand on the rock that you stand on it strong.
Exactly.
Stand on it
That's
strong.
what you believe. Right.
Be 10 toes down for what you believe and all that. But don't cry when I hit you with the hot sauce.
Don't
cry.
The hot sauce is coming.
It's coming, and it's hot. Okay, and it's tasty because it's crystal.
I don't think they do it to y'all. They do it to us because for most men, when women start crying, we let our defenses down, and then we're like, oh, hold on, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. I wasn't hurting your damn feelings. I was just asking you a simple question. What the hell wrong with you?
I just say, damn, what the fuck you crying for? I'll be confused this shit.
I mean, some women do use it. Some women do weaponize it. And it's bad because so many women weaponize it that I stopped crying even when I needed to cry because I didn't want anybody to think I was using it as a weapon.
Shit, I started crying. That shit ain't right. This is bullshit. Exactly. What we call me a bitch ass nigga.
That hurt your feelings?
Nah, I thought this shit was funny because you know how you make yourself cry, you be thinking about shit that ain't got nothing to do with the shit that's happening in front of you and shit. I was like, let me see if this shit gonna get me out of this shit. Shit ain't working.
All right, let me hit y'all with this one. Well, oh no, let me hit you with this one. I meant to play this in the beginning. One of my favorite little scenes.
You know, I know this steak doesn't exist. I know that when I put it in my mouth, the Matrix is telling my brain that it is juicy and delicious. After 9 years, you know what I realize? Ignorance is bliss.
Yes. And that's a great example because people choose ignorance because it feels better. It feels better.
Yeah.
And that matrix, like he knew the truth. He was living the truth, but it was too uncomfortable. Yeah, it's the best example of willful ignorance. He just showed.
It is. It is
right, I
the
know it's
best
not.
example.
I know this is all a lie, but I'd rather be in the lie and feel comfortable than not.
Yeah, then be uncomfortable with the truth.
Right. Right.
It's harder to deal with the truth. It's easy to deal with a lie. You just keep believing the lie.
Yeah.
And eventually the lie will become your truth.
Your truth. And that's what has happened in those situations. The lies become. Speaking of which, I'm glad you brought that up, Fred. Somebody asked me the difference, but not the difference. Does willful ignorance, or at what point does willful ignorance lean itself into full delusion?
When you're a Trump supporter and you find out that all that shit that's happening to everybody else is happening to you too, but you gotta hold on to your vote. And I just watched the example of that today. This guy, he was he's talking about Ukraine and Russia, talking about Russia invading Ukraine, and he was standing on business that Ukraine invaded Russia. And the guy was like, "There's no evidence of that. Oh, it's him. Putin is a friend." I was like, "When this motherfucker became a friend?" Like, yep, yeah, and he just believed it. And it was one of those situations where there was, but thanks for talking to me. That was all the dude could do.
That's all they could do.
Yeah, that's all you could do at the end.
All you can do is walk away from something like that, because if all the evidence says one thing and then you still choose to believe the other thing, there's nothing that nobody can do about that at all except release themselves from you. That's it. You know?
It's like talking to a brick wall. Brick wall gonna still be a brick wall at the end of the day. We all watched Russia invade Ukraine on national television. We watched it.
Right.
Yep. Nobody has never ever said that Ukraine invaded Russia until somebody did.
And like you said, I needed one person, and one person to second that, and that's all I need.
That was it.
Go with that narrative, you know.
Yep, and then we all believe the shit.
I wonder what kind of narrative we can create. Let's do a social experiment.
I'm a millionaire.
It's easy.
I love that. I love that. So, you know,
I'm out here like Soldier Boy. I believe in myself. I'm gonna make the game.
You ain't Soldier Boy at all.
For real, man.
I respect that dude.
Yeah,
I got a lot of respect for that dude.
Shit. And you know, I think me and y'all was talking about this before. Like, and I was thinking about this on the other end of that with Snoop Dogg, and how after his performance and all that, how he hasn't said anything. And that's the opposite of willful ignorance, because he could have came back and just made excuses, even though there's videotape that said he said what he said before, and then he went and did the thing, right? And so he could have came out and been like, yeah, making excuses or saying whatever it is and all that, but he chose not. He chose to be quiet because he know what he did, right? And I can give respect to anybody that can do that. Rather, I got mad respect for him, you know.
Yeah, like, I respect him more.
I said we can't wear stuff or nothing like that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we gotta support the community. So we can't support you, but we can respect you, right? Because he did not come back and gaslight us.
Right. Yeah, he was just like, and for real, nothing. I don't think I've ever heard anything. I don't think I heard a word
at all.
Yeah, he just went on about his life like that shit ain't never happened.
Yep. Because that would have been, for me, that would have been really disrespectful to the community in itself. Right. Like Nelly. We didn't see what we saw. We know what we saw. What we saw. We know what we know. And all that.
Yeah.
Right. And stuff. So like, you know, shout out Snoop Dogg. Thanks for
thanks for and keeping your mouth closed. You know what I'm saying?
Not expecting our minds like that.
There was really nothing he could say.
Yeah. But you know, some people would say something.
Yeah, it's the
Nelly said a whole lot.
Yeah, man. I heard that thing the other day after we had talked about it Saturday. I'm like, dude, just being quiet. But I mean, it's no different than like the woman who get together with her girlfriend and say, I hate my man. I ain't never going back to him. We talk about him like a dog. And then 2 weeks later, you see them two in the mall holding hands. And she came up with all kind of excuses. I mean, if you wanted the dude back, okay.
Hey, just
don't do that. Have me at his house scratching up his car, putting shit in his gas tank.
Throwing rocks in the nigga window and shit. Fuck you, John. You fucking asshole.
And now y'all back together and you give me some BS excuse about why y'all got back together.
Yeah.
I know what happened. He called you
I'm not ready to leave, girl.
2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
That's why I'm jump on the bandwagon.
In the morning. Yeah, you know.
I'm gonna jump on that shit. Niggas be like, man, I'm tired of this bitch. I'm like, man, take your ass home with that shit. I'll come around. Yeah, matter of fact, I know somebody that, I know somebody. We all know him. I was like, hey, man, go on home, bro. Sit up here, drink all my beer. Shit gonna be straight 48 hours. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, have mercy. Let's take a little bit of time and honor a great one who passed along. Was it George Foreman? Passed what, yesterday or day before?
Yeah, day before.
Friday. Yeah, Friday. Big George.
And
George.
My man. I wouldn't want to have fight that dude back in his heyday. That boy was that boy was solid.
I didn't want to get into a verbal disagreement with his ass. Fuck a fight, ain't gonna get that far.
Right.
He can try to hit me, I'm gonna pass out.
Have mercy. And then George got it from boxing to grills, man.
Yeah.
Who got the
Matter of
George
fact,
Foreman?
I'm gonna go find me a George Foreman grill just for representation.
Yeah.
I still got my George Foreman grill. I still got my George Foreman grill.
Yeah. The grease just roll right off your shit.
Right on off it, just slide right on in the little thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Meat was still greasy as shit though.
That meat is greasy.
Yeah, you can't. Just got the excess grease up.
I still think George messed over his sons though. Like, why you name all your sons?
All of them named George, huh?
Oh yeah, he sure did. He sure did do that.
They all got the same name.
Well, I bet they thought it was cool when it was small though.
Yeah,
you know.
I just wonder, like, what did they do in the house to just like you said, Fred? You big Fred and then little Fred. Like, George 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, how we do it? Like,
yeah, that's a good question. I wonder how they work that shit out.
I don't know.
But their whole names was the same, right? First, middle, and of course the last.
Yeah, exactly. Just like George. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, I can't.
I mean, could you imagine if you named all your sons after you? How y'all gonna do that?
I can't imagine that. Got one LeBron. It's like, boy,
there's always one LeBron.
I'd have to color code them.
Exactly. Let me tell you something. I wonder all the time with people with twins or triplets and all, like how you navigate that because.
Right, yeah, because I can't say how that parent. I mean, I guess parental instinct or whatever, but it's like, yeah, because I knew some triplets, and I don't see how the parents could have. They'd had to go to sleep in different outfits and shit.
Right.
Then if they switch the outfits on you, like we gonna fuck them up today. We gonna switch these outfits. You're gonna be Katie. I'm gonna be Kelly. You know what I'm saying? One of them be punished, the other one can go to the movies. Like, you want to go to the movies? We could just switch out.
Yeah.
That shit would be dope.
Man. I couldn't be no twin because I'll be doing all kind of mischief.
I'm telling you.
Oh, man.
Especially with the parents, too. I'll be fucking the parents up all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let's trick them today. You know? So, How about that?
People actually want to be dumb. People don't want to learn. People don't want to be aware. People don't want the truth. A lot of people find it easier to make it through life without the fight, without the knowledge of knowing, oh, something's not right about our society. Something's wrong about the way that we're being treated in our country.
Bullshit or no bullshit?
I agree with that.
I agree. Yeah, nah, that's no bullshit.
Because
I mean, it's true. No, it's true, and it's easier. And for real, it's easier if you're black or white. You know what I mean? Because if you just remove yourself from the drama and just go on about your day, about your day. Buku shit happening now, but you're going about your day. And I think too is a thing. It's a fear thing because you don't want to be stuck being scared or paranoid all the time. So it's like, look, I ain't gonna worry about it. Because I hear a lot of black people that say, well, Trump gonna do what he gonna do. I'm gonna put it in God's hands. And that's a way of just letting go any type of responsibility. And well, yeah, it is a responsibility.
It is.
So it's a way of letting go any kind of responsibility to what's going on. I'm gonna go on with my Monday through Friday, same way I always did. And that way I don't have to worry about it. Then when something happens, I'll deal with it then. Or not. Well, shit, you're gonna deal with it because it's gonna be in your face.
It's gonna affect you. Yeah, because it's gonna affect you and all that. You think that's the willful ignorance for black people? Is that one way we prevent ourselves from worrying, or like? Because if we flip it to the other side, because we talk about white folks, let's talk about us, right? And we operate in willful ignorance as well, and ignoring. Because there's some of us that are just like ignoring what is present. Like, and for me, like one big thing of willful ignorance, and we go take it all the way back to slavery again, is the people that didn't want to be free.
Right. Because just like the Matrix clip, because that's all it was. He was enslaved in the Matrix, got free, was like, nigga, I'm gonna come back to the plantation, plug me back in. Because life is simpler here. Even though I'm under control, it's under control. I understand. You know what I mean? It's less complicated. I don't have to figure nothing out. I don't have to do nothing. All I got to do is just be the slave. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He was gonna say what we already know. It was the money.
Oh, talking about Snoop? Yeah. Well, we knew he got paid and or threatened.
Right, and or threatened. All my heart. Oh, with all my heart.
That was 100%. It was a power move. He was talking that shit about people not doing it, then they made his ass do it. So it was money too. They had to pay him,
Yeah,
because they can file taxes on that shit.
And speaking of money, it's the same thing. And even at that clip in the Matrix, the rest of that clip is him making a deal, right? And he puts in there, he says, and I want to be rich.
Yeah.
And I want to be this. So he is setting up his fake ass life because that's going that's how you want to live.
Exactly.
So
and just like
live a lie, but a lie that you create.
Exactly. Yep. And he snitched on Neil. Job ass. But like even with slavery, they went back. You know what I mean? And everybody didn't want to be free, but freedom, but slavery still wasn't a choice. Kind of. A choice is when you can choose to or not to without consequence.
Right.
But
but every choice does have consequences if you want to go there.
Well, but all consequences is not negative consequence.
No, right.
Consequence is just a result of a decision. So, if I'm on the Underground Railroad to get my freedom, but I got to run and trip and fall and get chased down, that's a negative consequence. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So some people.
But am I willing to go through that thing in order to get the thing I want?
Right. And especially if you was on a half-ass decent plantation.
Right.
Plantation looks more appealing.
Right, exactly. It's especially if you up in the house and you cooking food and just nursing children, then your life is different than the one outside.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
that's why everybody wanted to be in the house.
You want to be free in that. So do that. So you think more black people want to be free or don't want to be free?
I think most do.
I think most do. I don't think a lot of them want to put in the work.
That's all I was gonna say, but now they're willing to do what's necessary to get it done.
They want to be free, but they want somebody else to do the hard lifting for them. And they just, they reap the benefits after the fact.
Like everybody else. That's why they're mad about us not being in the street right now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants the benefits that we provide for them, but nobody wants to do the work.
Yeah. All these minority groups, the Latins and all of them, that's why they all over Facebook and YouTube and TikTok looking for us, because when shit go down, we're always the first ones out there. Mm-hmm. We're always the ones protesting because, MLK gave us the blueprint, that worked. But like for its time in the 60s, that worked. Now, if you pay attention, you get more action from corporate white America when you start messing with their money.
Hit them in the pocket. And in essence, that's what the bus boycott did too. The bus boycott did the same thing. It hit them in the pocket.
Yeah, the bus boycott almost put the transit service out of business.
Yeah, they almost went out of business. They were begging black people to come back and ride that bus.
And I think it only lasted as long as it did because they thought we would fold.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you already know they was like, we're gonna wait these niggas out.
We're gonna wait them out.
They're gonna get tired of walking. But shit, that's what we do. But get tired of walking.
We got money for the bus. We gotta walk anyway.
Shit, where two or more gathered, church.
Come on now.
We getting that conversation to get to walking.
We busting it, right?
I'm telling you.
But the reason why
we from the neighborhood to the east. In fact, stop playing, nigga. I'll be walking.
Oh gosh.
That was the dumbest thing we ever did. But anyway, all that to go to the freaking arcade. But we had one.
That shit was worth it. That shit was worth it. I mean, if we was really thinking, we would have walked the Canal Street. It was a shorter walk, but that shit was worth it.
Yeah. But you think about it, and I just saw this today doing my research. I don't think anybody really paid attention to, like, on a job application. You know how they got black or African American. They don't have nothing. They don't have nothing for Latinos. But they got Hispanic, and then they have white or non-Hispanic.
Right. Because if
they're giving
Hispanic
people
is considered ethnicity, and they could be attached to any of those things.
Right.
Yeah. So they're basically, because I was thinking, like, how much of a majority is white America? And white America is still a majority, but not like they used to, because I think a long time ago, with that white or non-Hispanic, I think a lot of Hispanic people who think they white were saying they was white. You check that box. Mm-hmm. I can check that box, and they won't know that I'm black till I get there.
I've read, and I forgot where I read it, to be honest with you, but I've read where when they started the census to begin with, because that's how they started all this, the color stuff, right? Because white did not exist, right? You were European, you were, French or whatever, right? And all that. Right. So it was based upon your nationality. When they decided that they wanted to, create their caste system and all that, they decided to use color as the skin tone as a way to distinguish, right? And they started that with the census. And like you said, if you go through history and see the boxes that's on the census for each thing, they gave less options, right? Because either you was white or you wasn't. Right. See, Italians wasn't white.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so you was even
but in America they could check that white or not.
Even Native Americans, like, they had to check everybody had to check a certain box. Right. So like, and it's the same way even now with LGBTQ community, right? They used to be male, female. Now you got male, female, non-binary. So like cisgender, transgender. So they had to expand the boxes as you discover the things. But for them, they reduce the boxes so that there's less to choose from. Now I have this census that says, "Oh, we're the majority because let's see who chose white." Right? Let's see who chose, because if you could pass, then you was choosing white because that was a better thing for you, right? But it put everybody else in the black category, right, or the other category, and all that.
Yeah.
And that's also meant for. And then when you start increasing the boxes again, should we all identify as what we choose to identify with? Yes, and all that. But then you got this. Then there's that separation between the minorities at that point, right? Because I'm brown and you not so brown, and or no, I'm black and you Hispanic and you this, and so now we separating. Before, I think, I'm just assuming this part, right? I'm using some deductive reasoning and all that. That in the beginning, it was meant to categorize and be able to fit their agenda. I'm also assuming that there was too many others at that point. Right. If you had to check other, you checking the other one, right? And then that looked like the numbers got big. Let me separate them out. Just like they do with interracial marriage, and like we were talking about the interracial relationships and stuff like that. Well, I'm gonna make this illegal so that y'all got to separate yourselves. Because if y'all bind together, then it's over for us.
Right.
Yeah. So every avenue that they are able to take that separates us individually and all that. And then within the race, oh, you good because you light skin, but you ain't good because you dark skin. All right. So further separation. Well, let me separate the men from the women too. 50-50 or 100.
Let's come with
that. So whenever you separate the masses and make them fight with one another, then they ain't worrying about me, and they so busy fighting among themselves. They'll never gather together, then band together to put us out of business.
Yep. Right. Yeah. So like I said before, they crush revolutions before them shits can even get organized. No more. They ain't giving us no more martyrs. We won't have no more such a day. No Dr. Umar Day, because nobody gonna fuck with it.
Asher just said what you were saying now, and right.
When got added to the term white whenever they were threatened to become a minority. Exactly. Italians, Irish weren't always considered white until it was necessary to keep the numbers up. Exactly. Yep. Let me loop these people in, right? But if you look at numbers worldwide, other people outrank white people every day.
White people running about 9%.
Yeah.
9%. It's the dang Hispanics. Bolego homes, you know what I'm saying? They taking over. They're taking over.
Right. And even that I think was a ploy too to try to, put us at the bottom again, right? The majority minority now is Latinos. Cool.
Right.
You're still treating me like the same. So
right, yeah.
And rather than us banding together with them and all that, there was a further separation, right? So
because they thought they was in. They really thought they was in.
Oh yeah. And if you go in certain places, like when we moved to San Antonio, bro, I've felt more. I've had more discrimination from Hispanic people in San Antonio than I have ever from white people. Right? It's like we own this town, I could not wrap my mind around it because I was like, ain't they like us, right? Like I don't.
Right, and and that's what I thought.
I'm confused. I don't get it and all that. But I've listened to a lot of and of course it's not everybody.
Yeah, it's never.
You gotta remember to say that.
It's just the ones that do.
The ones that do. Right. So, but I find that and the evidence is also in the vote, right? We saw the evidence in the vote.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So but they ain't trying to help y'all either. As you notice now.
Yeah.
And they see that now because what white America is great at white America is great at making other nationalities feel like you're a part of our club. They can't do
Right.
it to us because they've been fucking over us for 400 years. We know.
So we already know it's a game, it's a trick.
They still get them.
Yeah.
They still get us.
You know,
Just
They
small,
use the money.
they still get
smaller
us.
portions, but yeah.
They use the money to get
They
us.
still get us.
Mhm.
Yeah, they still get us. But when other nationalities come in, they they get to check the white or non-Hispanic box.
Right.
So there really is no other box. If you really look, I don't even think I've seen it on like a job application or anything else. So that's the only box you can check. If you're Italian, you got to check that white, non-other box.
Right. There's no other choices.
And they always, you're at our table, but don't worry about them. That's the black people. They always bitch and complain and cry about shit ain't fair. So when you get here, think about it. When people from other countries get here, they don't set them up to get a job. They set them up to run a business. They come here, they get access to funds and grants, all of that. Nobody comes from Korea and go to work at Sprint call center. When they get here, they set them up to start a business.
Right.
But we're here, born and raised in America, and we gotta fight them same grants that they just give them. Say, here, the American dream, get your business, buy your house. Nigga,
We
go to
don't
work.
have access to it.
Yeah, go to work. I need you to go down the street to the warehouse, unload that rice that this man Mr. Chung gonna need for this Chinese restaurant. That's what we get. But and that's why a lot of them be like, I don't know what y'all complaining about.
Right.
And
they really believe we have the same access.
Well, no,
That's
of course
true.
you wouldn't.
That is
They hooked
true.
you up when you got here. The only other,
No, go ahead, Fred.
Because the only other people that they don't treat like that, it's Mexicans.
Yeah, they get the foot.
They was able to split us. Because think about it. You gotta come here illegally, most of them, to get here.
Right.
You take the shittiest jobs, the job that Donald Trump said that they were stealing.
From black people.
Tom at Bank of America not going to pick oranges in Florida.
Right.
And he's not going to go work in the warehouse for $12 an hour.
Right.
So trust me, they wasn't stealing it all jobs. They was taking the jobs you didn't want to take.
That's right. Right.
But they split us up because had we all sat down and like Brian, we all sitting down, they drinking the Modelo, I'm drinking freaking Budweiser, and like, man, you know what? They fucking over us. You right, Holmes? And the next thing you know, the Mexican and black communities they combine together.
Right.
No, they chop that off there.
Right.
So they're actually Mexicans. Well, you saw it on TV. That was actually out there saying, deport the motherfuckers, sitting their ass back across the border. Till they
that's crazy.
Their mamas and their daddies across the border. Now all of a sudden Trump ain't shit. No, he wasn't shit from the beginning.
He wasn't shit when you were saying that. Yeah.
He just played you. You got played.
To play yourself.
Just plain and simple. You got played. We tried to tell you, and now y'all all on social media talking about where we at.
Right.
We at home.
Right. Like even black immigrants don't understand the struggle. Right.
But you know what? I had a client that was she was from Nigeria. She came into the job and was like, I want to close my case. She was like, close it off. I don't know how you people live here. I mean, she was going off. She was like, I'm going back to Nigeria. It is ridiculous. She was going ham. I was like, what happened? And she was like, no, look at it. Like it wasn't even nothing in particular. It was everything.
It was the whole. Yeah, it was all the pieces of the whole.
Yep. Because she was like, she said, I only came here, was working here, and she was sending majority of her money back home because she was telling me how the dollar has like what 3-4 times more there. But she was like, she said, I have my family where I need them to be. I am not staying here another day. I was like, can me and my family come with you?
Can we come, please?
Exactly, man. Yeah.
What was the comment that Nancy had up there?
Yeah, what Nancy had said. She said something.
So some white Latinos, thinking they're closer to the white man. White is best colonial mentality. Refuse to even talk Spanish. Right.
Boy,
right. I see that.
Spanish.
Lots of folks that like refuse to speak Spanish.
Man. But you know what? One time, and this is years ago, I was saying something about white people. And it was me, Spanish young lady, and another black person. And I said what I said. And then the Spanish young lady said, yeah, I don't know why we do that. I said, no. I wasn't talking about Spanish people, I was talking about white people. And she said, no, I'm white. And I was like, what? I said, damn, I was waiting on the punchline. I really thought people joking 100%. She
did not identify as Hispanic.
Not at all. Not in the least little bit.
Wow.
Like not her personal life.
And so she just
social life. Not she just
straight up said she wasn't Spanish.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, dang, man, your ancestors looking down on you like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I said, you do know your people got fucked over too. You know?
Right, you do realize that, right? Yeah.
Texas was Mexico, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like,
remember the Alamo people.
Exactly.
That's the real story.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Because I just read this week too that there was a lesser known underground railroad to Mexico because they were refugees.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what the Texas, the Texas I forgot what they call it, but the war with Texas and Mexico.
Yeah.
That was because you couldn't be a slave in Mexico.
Right.
So the Americans in Texas went to war with Mexico so that they could keep their slaves.
Slavery. All right. Yeah.
To preserve slavery. That's what that whole war was on. And they got statues all over Texas representing that shit. And black people fought in that war. Black people fought in that war with them, but they were restricted on what they could do, where they could go, who they could mingle. They still treated them like slaves, and they was out there dying.
And that's some shit.
They was out there dying, fighting. They were fighting.
Bullshit.
Slaves. Yeah, they were fighting to steal slaves.
Vietnam, buku blacks.
Right.
They still couldn't do shit when they got home. You know what I mean? So it's and if anybody out there watching or listening thinking slavery, Jim Crow, all that bullshit was a long time ago, that's that willful fucking ignorance. That shit is as close as 2 minutes ago. You know what I'm saying? Shit is currently in play right now. So,
and that's what we talked about last time. Like, we are Gen X, right? And our parents was in the middle of segregation and integration. Like, our high school was all white.
Right.
When our parents was part of them not being all white.
Like, exactly.
You know, our auntie was the first black student by the president at our school. Like, that's how close it was. That's how close.
Right. And if we look like old ass, decrepit ass, like we in our 90s and shit. That's and I try to explain that to people all the time, especially when they use that long time ago theory. I'm like, nah, it really wasn't that long ago. I mean, Martin Luther King was assassinated in March of 68. April of 1968. Right, because it was a month for Fred's birthday.
1968, a month after that.
So he was assassinated in April 68, and he wasn't retired.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So when he was assassinated, he was still fighting for equal rights. So you think by 1975, we still ain't had no rights. But we were too young to know we didn't have rights.
That's right.
So we still didn't have rights. Our elementary school was newly integrated. You know, he was newly integrated. So France wasn't always a 99.9% black school. The only white people that were teachers and principals. You know what I mean? So none of this stuff is old.
Yeah.
So next
Ruby
time
Bridges is still alive, y'all.
Exactly. On average, they say the average person who saw true equal rights for blacks is under the age of 58. 58 and under. You know what I mean? And when you do, and what it was, even for us, we grew into all of those freedoms. When we were born, we didn't have all of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, ladies and gentlemen, whether you black, white, Hispanic or not, you want to identify what the hell you want to identify. Know that this shit is not old shit. It's not old shit. It's current shit, and that's why they rolling the dice right now, trying to bring that shit back. You know, it's like let's do it through the military contracts and see how people react. Then we'll spread that shit out from there.
Yeah, I seen that all week too. Like, how y'all feel about segregation and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, I'm down. I can't wait to put my color on and sign up. Can't wait.
Damn.
I'm just saying it can go both ways. And I need people to realize it can go both ways.
Right.
Because
it can go both ways.
Right. And somebody mentioned, and they would hate that or whatever. It's basically, like if I saw a whites only sign on a business, I was like, I'd be glad to see a whites only sign. I'm not offended. That means I don't give you my money. Let me go find somebody who want my money.
Exactly.
I enjoy knowing who I can spend my money with and who I can't. Thank you for identifying yourself.
Yeah, if McDonald's pop up tomorrow with a whites only, okay, fine. I just keep driving up the street.
First of all, what the hell you doing at McDonald's? Stay your ass out.
He got on your Fred.
I'm just saying
they got good breakfast. All right.
That breakfast ain't good for you, Fred.
It ain't good for you though.
Ain't nothing at McDonald's good for you,
Eat some kale for breakfast.
Kale is gross. Don't eat kale, Fred.
Kale is gross. No,
when it's cooked,
even baby kale.
No, when it's cooked. Bro, I can't even describe the taste of kale. All right,
tanning some kale up, man. Y'all crazy. Anywho, though, on that segregate, I understand why people would say, I couldn't even imagine that because you can't. You can't. You never experienced it, and I don't know that I would be OD like, segregation back, yeah. No, that's not. I would prefer it not be that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I would prefer that it not be that. But if it is going to be that, what I'm telling you now, what I would fight for is okay. We're gonna be segregated. We're gonna be equally fucking segregated. Yeah. It ain't gonna be that y'all motherfuckers got everything and we ain't got shit.
Not nothing. No. It's gonna. Again, separate but equal. That used to be a thing too, right? Either integration or separate but equal. Separate and equal works for me too.
Exactly. But I disagree when people say that integration was the worst thing that happened.
Yeah, I can't say worse.
Because I saw on Facebook somebody was like, integration was the worst thing that ever happened, and I wanted so bad to say, well, what do you mean? You know what I mean? Because when I looked up the person and saw they were born in the 90s, early 90s, 89, 90. So I'm like, bro, you ain't really even seen.
Yeah, young, yeah.
No. It's not at all the worst thing. There are a lot of positives that came out of it.
Right.
And it's not the way to run a country in a segregated way. But if the goal is like we're gonna bring back segregation, okay, you balance that shit out. split the country down the middle. Because people was like, give us the East Coast. Fuck that, nah. You know,
right.
I mean, if somebody said, give us the West Coast, I was like, nope, fuck that. They can have the West Coast. California gonna fall off the map sooner or later anyway.
Right.
Give us the East Coast, because that way I still got New Orleans, Atlanta.
That's right. I did little,
and you know what? And fuck that. We could take Maine because it's nice up there. You know, you can't go there and not be black, but we'll be able to go there then. You know what I mean? And I would like to request that all the black people, and it's another show, so we're not gonna get into it. But all the black people come with us, and all the niggas can go with them. Because niggas already doing their fucking job any fucking way. You know what I'm saying?
Niggas gotta go on their own island, their own thing.
Exactly. Since y'all niggas want to do the niggas shit, which is they shit.
That's their shit.
Bring your ass over there.
Yeah,
shit.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Take Diddy, we'll take R. Kelly back. Fuck
it. I'm with that. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's a way to work it out. Right. If that's what they want. And the reason why the shit is not gonna work is because they know the value of the black dollar.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're gonna tell us we can't come up in Kohl's no more. Guess what? We won't. You know what I'm saying? And you'll be just like Target and Tesla. You know what I'm saying?
And Tesla learning theirs, right?
Yeah.
Because and I'm gonna keep mentioning it because people keep forgetting. Y'all remember when we did that to Denny's back in the day?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I forgot about Denny's.
Don't forget about Denny's.
And that was the 90s. Right.
Yes, that was in the 90s. Right. And nobody fucked with Denny's since then.
Yep. Yeah, and I still don't go to Denny's.
Still don't go to Denny's. And that's one of those epigenetic things because my kids don't even know nothing about Denny's.
Yep.
Because we didn't pass that along to them. We don't do Denny's. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true. And that's they a bottom barrel joint.
For real. No niggas allowed.
And I ain't gonna lie, the first time I see a no blacks allowed, I'm gonna be offended. I am gonna be offended. I'm like, oh my God.
I'm gonna keep walking, but I am gonna be offended.
Yep. I'm gonna shake my head in disappointment. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But like you said, they're gonna find out white people don't spend that much money.
Nah.
Because
that's one thing.
Like talking about
money. We plan all year for tax returns. We spend some money.
Oh baby. Yeah. Oh baby.
People be
You've been telling me already. I didn't get this in my tax return. I did that my tax return.
Hell yeah.
Because you know why? Because over the years they've taught Black America how to spend, and they taught white America how to save.
Mm-hmm.
So if they do segregate, and we get the South, and they get wherever, and they give us some desolate Yellowstone in between is where nobody go. Mm-hmm. They're gonna find out real quick that white people ain't gonna break their spending habits. They're not gonna be going out here. They're not gonna be spending $300 on Jordans, red bottom shoes.
Yeah. Oh, did y'all know that Jordans is now a nigga shoe?
Who?
It's for black folks now. My young folks told me the other day, like now they're considering that like that's a black person shoe now.
What? Jordans?
Oh, Jordans?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a black person.
Yeah, for real, because I don't never remember seeing the white boys wearing Jordans.
No, I didn't see a lot of white people wearing them, but I thought it was already a black.
No, because I assumed it was already too, but like I guess it's official now.
Shit.
I don't know if somebody must have said that they wouldn't wear it because of, or
maybe
because I always see white folks wear it too. So
right, and I've always seen white folks wear it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask them what the details of that is, but I was like, I don't know.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, is Michael Jordan considered, like on that Will Smith category?
I don't know.
Right, because it's like I don't hear a lot from him. I mean, last thing I heard was that he was on that prison support system, like he was putting money into prisons. So
no, he's a Republican. He's a down Republican because being a Democrat don't benefit him.
Well, being a Democrat, but you know what? I don't even get that. Now explain that to me. the fuck difference do it make? Like, first of all, you Michael Jordan, like you a fucking billionaire.
Right.
So being a billionaire Republican affects you how? Or being a billionaire Democrat affects you how? You know what I'm saying?
You know, Elon Trump used to be a Democrat. He always voted Democrat. Never voted Republican till this year, till this election. He decided to go, and I blame some of that on the Democrats because the Democrats went a little too far pushing agendas. Elon Musk had his own agenda, what he trying to do. And that's another show because he's in a whole lot of hot water right now with his investors. Like I say, like I told y'all the last time, white is right till it's white on white. Now he messing up their white money.
Messing with the white people money.
Now they in his ass. But
who dog is mad? Who is messing with that dog?
For real.
Man, that's Lipton. Melissa,
take that shock collar off that dog.
No, it's not on him because I just gave him a bath. So he only do that when she come home. Everybody else come home. Shit, fucking burglar could break in this motherfucker. You want that PlayStation and them turntables? Take them. But the kids can't even give Melissa a hug right without he kirk off on everybody, and she don't even pay the dog no attention at all.
Oh wow!
I don't know what.
Yeah, but no, he's always voted Republican. He don't really speak out on black issues. If you notice, he never has nothing to say.
Jordan? Yeah, I don't hear from him at all. Like I ain't heard nothing from him in centuries.
He don't. No, he just worried about that money. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, he's not Dr. Umar's number one fan because all his women been snow bunnies.
Yeah,
like,
but my thing is this: if I was a billionaire, it would, and again, I guess it's the same question. Like, what difference does it make? Because if I'm a billionaire and I'm a Republican, ain't no Republicans gonna be like, oh, we're gonna give you some money because you're a billionaire Republican. Right. If anything, they're gonna ask me for money and then maybe do some favors for me in the end. But if I'm already a billionaire, well, what the fuck I need from you? You see what I'm saying?
Democrats' agenda is everybody pay their fair share, especially the rich. Democrats' big thing is the rich gonna start paying their fair share. Republicans are rich people's friends. They put laws in place. They put laws and tax breaks and put all that in place to where only the poor people are paying taxes. We're going to put stuff in place where you can make $50 million and pay $0 in taxes because you can write everything off. That's why billionaires
love Republicans.
Yeah, I get that. But shit, you know what?
It's like voting against your own interests.
You said for Michael Jordan what?
Shit, I mean, that's a piss poor ass reason. I mean, it is. And like,
at the end of the day, though, it's I want to be on the right team that benefits me.
Right, and that from that aspect, I get it. But my whole bag is how much fucking money do you need? Shit.
I was wondering the same thing when we was thinking. I was thinking about how much money Elon lost. They say he lost $200 billion. And I was like, that's a lot. He's still on top.
Hell yeah. That's a freaking
lot of money.
You lose
$200 billion, but you're still on top.
Right. Exactly.
You started with 400-something billion, right? But he's begging people not to, sell a stock and all that kind of stuff now because he's trying to stay in the spaces where he is.
Right.
And all that stuff with his little raggedy truck.
All
that stuff. Like what?
Like a trash.
And it's ugly.
It is. I saw one in real
life. Ugly.
That shit is not handsome at all. He said now he made a comment decades ago about his shoes not being a black shoe. Oh.
He did. He did do that. He said that. that his shoe was not a black shoe.
We should have dropped him then. What
Well,
happened?
I never wore them. Yeah,
I've never been a Jordan fan. No.
Yeah,
Not that aspect.
I never thought
No,
Jordan was the high shoe thing. I wear shell toe Adidas. You know what I'm saying? When Ron said my Adidas, I said, you right. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So and and you're right. I get they always want more. I just get sick of the motherfuckers with that shit.
Right.
You know? Yeah. And it's fine. They get the money, but
they keep selling the dream to us like we should want more and more. Like get like me, be like me. Try to get what I got to get. What I'm gonna get.
That's why ain't doing that good.
No. And if it keeps sinking, he don't own his own company.
Right.
Yeah.
Because when you that you on a board that you got investors, and investors own the majority of the company.
And you know they're gonna pull out. They're gonna pull out before they start losing too much.
Right.
No,
That's how you losing the money.
Yeah. They'll replace him first.
Pull out.
Yeah, they can vote him. They can vote him out of his company.
Man, they need to get out. Ain't nobody gonna buy
nobody else in there.
Yeah,
they basically telling him get his ass out the White House, playing around with Donald Trump, and come run this damn company.
Yeah.
He's spending more time doing that bullshit that he doing with the government and SpaceX than he is running his company.
And SpaceX not even making no money. That shit is a bunch of failed ass projects. So that's just money going down the drain.
Just like Trump.
Yeah.
And all his failed ass businesses.
Yep. Exactly. Them niggas.
They love us.
Yeah.
They just
let MAGA tell it. He the best businessman on the planet. I don't know if you done filed bankruptcy 7 times. You ain't doing something right.
Shit, I didn't even know you filed bankruptcy 7 times. But look at the people that follow. I mean, you know what I mean. So it's a bunch of child molesters and rapists and nasty motherfuckers. Or people that just don't fucking want to know the truth. You know what I'm saying? Because they're part of the cool guy club and they think that's the spot to be in because they're not even benefiting from him being in there. But they get to feel good about themselves.
He told them they were going to benefit. Because
I mean, but even that's stupid. Because every politician says what they say. You know what I'm saying? Like that, and Trump is not. This is his second term, and even his first term, he said a bunch of shit and didn't do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not even like that one-term president. They get up in there, they said a bunch of shit, but they didn't do it. But then you never see him again. Right. And this motherfucker came right back and
the same bullshit.
Didn't do this and did the same shit he did the first time. Because there was a reason why people turned on him after the first time. Because they was like, you fucking up. You know what I mean? And then he comes back with the same bullshit, fucks up again, and then the same motherfuckers are surprised. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So to me, I cut them. They get no slack. It's no fuck what he said. Fuck all that bullshit. You knew you knew this shit was gonna go bad. You knew it was gonna go bad. This was the same motherfucker that said, "You got COVID? Inject yourself with some bleach." Clorox, you know what I mean? So it's the same motherfucker that said this stupid. It's the same motherfucker when that little bullshit happened in North Carolina, South Carolina, one of them, and the little racist group and then the people got killed. This nigga, there's good people on both sides. Because the motherfucker didn't know what to say. You know what I'm saying? So
now let me tell you the difference between his first time in office.
Yeah, I know what it is.
This time,
yeah.
What you got?
Even with him having the backing of people that were more educated and knew what to do, he was still saying dumb shit. You see what I'm saying? Because that's a rap for giving motherfuckers excuses for shit. You know what I'm saying? He's an incompetent. It's incompetent leadership, and now he's surrounded by even more incompetent leadership. But I can guarantee you this: there's a bunch of competent motherfuckers making some money off his ass, and that is the fact. You understand what I'm saying? So they was like, let this nigga take all the fucking heat. Sure, he's going down in history as the worst fucking thing to happen to the country. But we're gonna make all this fucking money off. The nigga is straight he's more in the host status than a pimp status. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I ain't giving that nigga no fucking excuse. I don't give a fuck who he had around him. Shit, beat him. You understand?
They beat him.
See, back then, yeah, he had all these political people around him. So when he wanted to do the dumb shit like he's doing now, they wouldn't let him do it. They're like, no, you can't do that. So yeah, the thing with the bleach, I thought that was stupid, and that's what lost him there. COVID lost him the election because dumb people would believe. Oh, Donald Trump said it's not that serious. Dr. Fauci got like 5 freaking degrees. This man run the CDC. If he tell me COVID is bad, I think I'm gonna believe him. Versus Donald Trump.
Yes.
You know, this time around.
Again, that's another willful ignorance thing, though. I'm gonna believe what he's saying, even though I'm watching people around me drop like flies.
Exactly.
Yeah, they was watching their family members die
every day.
Yeah, they watching their family members die. That's when they started. Then they started probably saying, "Oh, maybe it's serious.
Maybe it's serious. Right. Maybe."
But
these
this
motherfuckers
time
wouldn't
around,
take the COVID shot, but they'll pump that fucking Ozempic in their ass all fucking day long.
Oh, you know, hell yeah.
You don't know what the fuck that shit is. You know,
you don't. If your ass don't have type 2 diabetes, you don't need to be taking Ozempic. Exactly. Period. But they go out and the doctors prescribe it for them.
World, everybody want to be skinty. Everybody want to be
but it only helps you lose up to 20 freaking pounds.
Them people losing more than 20 pounds.
Oh yeah,
it is because
I just laid at my job on those zippers. Whoa, woo, lost all that weight.
Yeah, because now they
big
get
just all right.
Life in order to keep it.
But actually, she does have diabetes, so maybe.
So okay, well, that's
she getting the residuals. Yeah, she's getting the residuals of her medicine.
Yeah, but if you notice, this time he surrounded he surrounded himself with yes men.
The Kango hat, Mike. No pause, but
like you're not gonna say hi to Brian and Fred, because
right, God dang, Mike.
Yeah, Mike. Dang.
Ain't they giving you trouble, Mike?
Dang, Mike. Yeah, but he surrounded himself on purpose with people that was just gonna say, because if you look at him, his press secretary, I almost called it a B word. I'm sorry, ladies. I hate her. She is the most arrogant little white woman, because all they do is all of them repeat the same thing. When you ask them a real question, they talk about the border. They talk about how rich this country, how everybody gonna be rich. I ain't rich. And eggs still high as hell, so you ain't do nothing. You
said, I'm very rich though.
Yeah,
in my heart.
I got the dollars right here, boy. Got them dollars.
Yeah, but
my money on the way to the bank. I don't know when it's gonna get there, but it's on the way.
Right.
Well, according to Donald Trump, it was gonna get there the first day he got in office.
Right.
That's what these
terrorists. But I already see. I wasn't operating in willful ignorance. I didn't think I was part of the millionaire club that was gonna get that $1 million deposit.
Oh no! As a matter of fact, I was telling everybody when that man get in office, he gonna wild out. Oh no, he can't do it. They're not gonna let him do it. He surrounded himself with people. He surrounded himself with people that was gonna let him do it.
Now, don't get me wrong, because things still have to go through, but things are still happening at the same time, right? You know, because lots of people did get deported, you know, but there are other things that they are slowing but he's still trying. He's not gonna stop trying.
No,
but that's because the switch up this time. It's not even so much that he surrounded himself with these people. It was the people. We'll call them the placement people.
Okay, the placement people.
Right. The people who interviewed anybody who was going to be working with him had to meet that criteria. So I like to say that Trump surrounded himself with these people is giving him far too much fucking
credit.
Props. Yeah, way too much credit for intelligence and smarts. It's the people that's actually profiting from this shit. It's the Project 2024 group. Right. So they interview with the people who's going to be around them. So you have to be this puppet, you know, because if you listen to them, no matter what you ask them, they'll say, well, I believe in President Trump. I believe that they start every sentence off that. So you know that you already know that it's scripted. Trump don't have the intelligence or the wherewithal to put shit nothing that big together. You know, even with him getting back in office. You know what I mean? And the whole play is get in there, go ham. It's like it's like if you throwing 50 rocks a minute at me, I can't get my shit together to come back.
Right.
That's a psychological phenomenon. Exactly. Like if I overwhelm you with all this back-to-back stuff and you get overwhelmed and you ain't got time to figure out which way to go. Like, what do I fight? Like, should I be scared? Not be scared? Shit, I'm scared all the time. Like, what are you gonna do tomorrow? What are you gonna do tomorrow? Like, every week I check with clients and I'm like, okay, so this is how you doing with the personal stuff. So how you doing with the rest of the stuff?
Right.
And for some people, they was like, he gonna do what he do. I ain't worrying about it. And for some people, it's like, oh my God, I just don't know. Okay, let's relax. Let's talk about it. Right?
Yeah.
You know,
right.
Because that causes a mental health crisis. When you just and you already got your regular stuff you're dealing with. Just regular stuff, you know. So it's being mindful and watchful and don't have willful ignorance. Like see the shit. You know, we should do a show on signs that you're in a cult.
That's good research too, because have I ever been in a cult? Where this one church was
That's what I was saying.
But I recognize it and got the hell out of there. So
yes,
you were in a cult. You were.
There are many houses of worship that are a cult.
Right.
And I think this Trump thing, I call it a cult.
And it moves like one. It moves like one. It's like it doesn't matter what it is. It's all hail, our fierce leader bullshit, and that's all that it is. So
Y'all seen the Manchurian Candidate?
Yeah, I saw that way back when it came out because Denzel. That's
I'm about to watch that again because I feel like this feel like that.
You know what? Right. Because I saw it way back. Yeah, I'm gonna refresh. With that.
Yeah. I pulled it out the archives. I'm gonna watch it and see. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm feeling some of that same vibe, especially when.
Oh my God! I just thought about some shit from the movie. Yeah, I am gonna rewatch that. We could be experiencing that shit right now.
Yeah.
Okay, black people, watch the damn movie.
Go watch the Manchurian Candidate, and then y'all tell us what you think.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, because we can talk. Yeah, we can talk about that. You know, and then paying attention to the kids started watching. I'm sorry, these grown people, they're not kids. Started watching Scandal again, and they picking out. They was like,
right. But you know what? Back when I watched Scandal.
You saw it then.
I saw it then.
I never watched it the first day when everybody was into it. I wasn't watching.
Yeah,
it,
I ain't never.
But I watched it after the fact. I think Melissa was doing because she'll rewatch a whole season, the whole thing. I think, and I started watching it then. I wasn't. I don't jump on stuff when it's hot.
Not me. I
didn't watch Power until like 3 years later. You know what I mean?
Only I jumped on was Empire. I was on my Empire thing when it was hot.
I watched the first season. I was like, I ain't never watching this dumbass shit again. That shit was dumb.
I watched it, right?
Because it's like they go outside. Life is great, and then somebody gets shot. He was like, Johnny got shot. Let's go to the studio and sing about it. And that big lip boy started rapping. As soon as I saw the big lip boy had took the record company, and I saw his little fucking 12-year-old ass sitting behind that desk, I said, wait, this is some dumbass shit. That shit ain't make no fucking sense, man. That shit was an unnecessary musical with an unnecessary amount of fucking sex scenes. That shit was stupid. I saw the first season. Never, and I was trying to support what my man name is? Yeah, man.
Terrence
Howard, and oh girl, it's like I'm big supporters of them.
Yeah,
so it's like anything they do, I'm like, I'm gonna watch it. But I couldn't make it. I was like, y'all lost me with this shit. I kept looking at the credits like, did Tyler Perry write this shit? It runs like a Tyler Perry film, you know.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I used to watch Power just for the music. That was it. That was all the reason I watched it. They had some good music on there.
Power was a pretty good story. It was a good story.
The boy that ended up losing his whole career because he lied and said he got jumped at 3 o'clock in the morning on the subway in Chicago.
Juicy Smollett.
Yeah.
Juicy Smollett, yeah.
I don't even know why he did that. For real. Yeah, he didn't have no reason to do that.
I ain't have no reason. And he was about to be a big voice for the LGBTQ, all that stuff. But for that community, he was about to be a big advocate for that community. So I don't know why he did that shit. Attention seeking, I assume. But
I don't know. He didn't even have it to do.
But it's like, but
I was very confused by that. I'm like, I couldn't tell.
When that shit came out, black people did not believe him day one. I remember when I first heard the story, I was like, what? That shit.
Yeah, it didn't make sense. I was like, it sounded like some sabotage shit or something.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, the first thing I said is, what the hell are you doing out in the hood in Chicago going to Subway?
Because again, that don't make sense.
Right.
That don't make sense.
The initial part of your journey is shady, sir. You know?
Right.
Juicy Smollett was something else. Now you can't get a job nowhere.
Yeah, nowhere. And he was talented. That was the sad thing.
Mm-hmm.
The boy could sing for real. He was talented. But that just made no sense to me. I lived in New Orleans East where We Never Closed. And I didn't go to We Never Closed at 3 o'clock in the morning. You know why? Because I knew
after the club, you can catch me at We Never Closed.
After the club,
Yeah, I ain't leaving my house.
I didn't go.
You're not going to your house.
But if I'm sitting at home, I'm not gonna be like, dang, y'all want some We Never Closed.
Oh yeah.
I go to Anita's first.
Absolutely.
I know who hang at We Never Close at 3 o'clock in the morning. Nobody I won't be dealing with.
Exactly. Niggas drunk, smelling like cigarettes and Hennessy.
You know what's sad is after Katrina, they started closing.
Yeah, it closed.
They closed.
I thought they would never close.
It was sad. All right, listen to this.
I don't know if you know this, but you're under no obligation whatsoever to engage in unproductive verbal exchanges with individuals who have demonstrated an unyielding penchant for arguing. In fact, for you to engage in such exchanges is to court ignorance in its highest form. To argue with the persistently ignorant, people who unwaveringly dismiss reason and cling to the comfort of their own misguided certainties, is not only unproductive, it risks you becoming indistinguishable from them. You see, there's a distinction between intellectual sparring with someone who is genuinely curious and entangling yourself in fruitless discourse with someone who is combatively obtuse. As the saying goes, you only have so many F's to give. So, you have a decision to make. Are you prepared to waste your cognitive and emotional energy in an argument that is devoid of merit? Or will you, in a moment of restraint, abstain and preserve your energy along with your intellectual integrity? Understand this, there is no virtue in engaging with someone whose mind is impervious to reason. In fact, disengagement with them is a demonstration of wisdom. It's a recognition that not every hill is worth climbing and not every battle is worth fighting. So, the next time you encounter a verbal provocateur who is committed to arguing, consider the profound freedom found in your own silence. Remember, sometimes the loudest declaration of your wisdom is often made by refusing to argue with an idiot.
Don't argue with idiots.
Yep.
I 100% agree with that, buddy. I've had those.
Putting that P in my name, James. That T's not BAP. T. Damn it. But thanks, Mike. Appreciate you. Gotcha. Yeah.
No, I've had those kind of conversations, and I just had to say, okay, and just walk away because I don't want to argue. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
And it don't make it, like I say, it's exhausting. It's emotionally and mentally exhausting.
Yeah. It'll drain you out.
All you end up is pissed off every time you end up pissed off.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and I usually hit them with that's an interesting perspective. And leave them. Yeah, I hit them with that's an interesting perspective you have, and leave them with that.
And that's it.
And especially with strangers, people outside of your love circle. Yeah, I'm not going to go back and forth with you. I don't. At the end of the day, I don't care if you don't get it. You know, good luck with that shit.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So if I bring it around to our
Uh-huh.
mental health side, because we got to bring it around to the mental health and our Black folks,
Always.
there are some areas where Black folks get stuck in willful ignorance, such as I'm not traumatized, I'm just strong. He not abusive, he just loves me rough and tough. America isn't racist, people just sensitive. So like, and that's, and especially in the mental health space, in order to admit that you have a problem, in order to fix a problem, you gotta admit that you have it, right?
Facts.
And if we sit in a space of I'm not depressed, or I'm not this, or I'm not that, or my child don't have autism, or that ain't ADHD, that boy just bad, if we sit in those spaces, that's willful ignorance. Because if all the evidence says something different, in the least, check it out, see what's going on with it.
Right.
Because then you start slipping into the delusion. And if you're sitting in delusion, you're not getting no help, and you can't develop relationships like that. You can't maintain a great life like that. That's the problem with the white people right now. So be willing to face what it is you need to face, so that you can have some emotional growth and accountability, which is my favorite thing. And in order to establish real connection, because if you always, like your girl says, standing in the light of gas, don't nobody want to fuck with you.
Right.
Nobody wants to fuck with a gaslighter. So any other comments or suggestions of things that you want to? Because I think we covered all of our little things. The fact that white supremacy loves delusion. They love the gaslight. They like white supremacy thrives in willful ignorance.
Yeah. That's how they get. That's how they stay on top.
That's exactly.
If I can keep you stupid, I'm always be on top.
And I encourage people to stop making excuses. Stop making excuses for other people. And
right.
I'm guilty. I'm guilty of making excuses for people too. I'm like, they just don't understand. They just don't get it. I was doing that recently too. That I was just like, okay, so, but they don't have our lived experience, so I can understand why they don't understand. But that's bullshit.
Yeah.
It's
bullshit.
Right? Yeah. Because I also know people who do know the experience, but don't recognize it as the same experience that we're going through. Right. You have two people sitting in the same boat, paddling with the same water, all that. But because they're not me, they're not wearing my skin, they really believe that theirs is different.
Yeah.
That's the willful ignorance that pissed me off. As a matter of fact, I could be in position that's better than that person, and they still choose to believe that their situation is better than mine.
Right.
Just because they're white.
Right. And that's when believing in yourself goes horribly wrong. I'm over here. You drowning, I'm in a rowboat. You still saying I ain't shit. Okay.
Right, exactly.
I'm gonna roll this way. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And so and that's why when I made the comment about I can't wait to put my color only sign up, right? That's where that is fueled from. That is fueled from I have always been an inclusive person. I have always been like, no, invite the people over. No, and all that stuff, right? But the fact that even if I explain it to you, even if I break it down to you, even, if we holding hand in hand, trying to take care of this thing together, but you still believe what you believe while standing next to me in the fight, you're not going to step in front of the bullet for me. You're not even going to push me down on the ground. You're going to believe I deserve the bullet.
Exactly. And we'll justify the shit. You know what I mean? He will justify that shit.
Right. So she feel like Kanye mama gave him too much confidence in himself. Let me tell y'all something. There is such a thing as too much confidence. I had a client that was like that before. Parents raised him beautiful, but he felt entitled to everything.
Yeah.
And to the point that he wanted to change people.
Right. To get like me, right? Yeah.
Because it's okay to have confidence in yourself, but to the extent that you're not paying attention to nothing else around you and all that. I need to bring that clip that you sent that time when your boy told him was telling Kanye like,
TMZ.
Oh yeah.
Because he told him, right, you are at a certain level now that you don't get to experience the stuff that we are experiencing. Right. You know, and for me, that's the reason that Snoop couldn't say nothing. You are at a level where you are not experiencing the same thing we are experiencing at this level. So you have the privilege to be able to say stupid shit or do stupid shit or whatever it is, because I can't do what you're doing and be okay. I can't run around saying dumb shit and be okay, you know, and stuff like that. So like you have to be careful as you climb the ladder, as you reach your higher heights and all that. Like that's when they don't forget where you came from. Don't forget your folks.
100. And that's simply all that means. Because out of the rap community, he was the one that was most vocal about you will sell out if you do this.
Do this.
Turn around and do it. So
yeah.
And again, Snoop, we appreciate you just not making a big deal out of it after the fact. Not trying to excuse it off, It's like, I did what I did. I can't holler at y'all right now because I just let y'all the fuck down.
Exactly.
What I'm saying? So,
Exactly. So we all have to be careful of that. Like to say, as you elevate, as you get bigger, as you grow, even in like intelligence and knowledge and whatever it is or whatever, don't position yourself above everybody else just because, okay, now you know some shit somebody else didn't know. Don't be talking shit about them because they don't know. Help them to get educated.
Don't be out here like Roland Martin talking about what the fuck we should already fucking know. You know what I'm saying? Just give us the fucking information, man.
That's it. And don't stand in judgment of anybody else that is trying to figure their way out too, and all that. When I first decided I did not want to participate in spiritual activities by going to a church, I ain't judge nobody else who still go to church.
Exactly.
If you still go to church, that's your jam. I just don't need that anymore, right? I need something different. My connection is different now. I'm on a different level, but I'm not judging you if that's where you at, right? And all that. You don't sit in a position of elevation because you know a little something or you've grown a bit.
Right? Because in real life, you just know what you know. You still don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah, you know what you know. And because we happen to be on that topic, or if you brought up the topic because it's what you know, don't judge me for not being interested in your interest. I might be interested after you share the information with me.
Yeah, exactly. Barnard gave a speech yesterday explaining that these politicians aren't trying to figure out how to pay a light bill about growth. Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
When they at that level, they don't know. None of them know the price of eggs.
Right.
Because they don't shop for eggs. They don't have to worry about that. That's not their main concern. Our concern is trying to make it every day and get to the grocery store and see if we can feed our families.
Yeah. And it's crazy because all the problems the average American have are very simple problems. They're not as big as the deficit, the budget, Ukraine, Russia, none of that shit.
None of that.
I'm just trying to make sure fill a tank up and go get this damn
shit.
You know what I'm saying? Like that.
Exactly. So any other comments before we wrap it up?
Nah, I feel fulfilled. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. However you tuned in, I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Like, follow, subscribe, all that.
Oh wait, Fred, I made a graphic for it this time. Look, that's cool, ain't it?
Is that me in the front?
It could be you. If you
want that to.
You want it to be you.
If you believe,
I believe that
is you.
Right.
That's you back there with the headphones.
You be who you want to be, Fred.
In your heart. In
That's
your
right.
heart, man.
That's right.
God damn.
So we're going to give a mad shout out to Rochelle and James. And don't forget Mike.
Yep. Can't forget Mike.
Yeah, Mike.
Can't forget
Don't
Mike.
forget Asher. Asher was here. Yeah.
Who else was here?
Asher, the one that came up with that good point. I'm going to see if I can find it again.
You going to find it? All right. Find it so we can give Asher a shout out. Nancy. Who else we had up here? I want to make sure I don't miss nobody. Yeah, that's everybody. Appreciate everybody being in audience. And those of you who didn't make comments, we appreciate you too. You know
right. God dang it.
We
just couldn't say your name because you didn't make a comment. But
right. We don't know. We don't know unless you make a comment. Then we can't give you a shout out. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But we want to give shout outs and all that. And make sure, like I said, y'all like, share, subscribe. Please share. Share. Because we want to have more conversations. And if there's something specific you feel like you want us to talk about, holler at us. Let us know what's up. Put it in the comments or, don't send me an email because I don't be checking it all the time. But put it in the comments. If you're looking for mental health help in any way, whether it be coaching, psychotherapy, you just want some skill building, you want to do a group, whatever it is, give us a holler at choosingempowerment.com. You can schedule a consultation straight from the website, and let us know what you need, man. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Go on and get your mind right. Get your mind.
Please get your mind right. But you come in no bullshit style, though. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Nene. Nene says you can't wait for next week. Absolutely. We ain't got no topic yet for next week. Y'all got suggestions, y'all let us know.
Look at that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
and this you're not usually without a topic, but
yeah, it's rare.
You just let us know. Preschool to prison pipeline. That's a good one. I'm writing that down. Rochelle is the educator. Rochelle, if we talk about your subject, we're gonna invite you on the show to talk. Just let
real facts on top of facts. Can't keep coming up with all this good stuff and play the background forever. We don't pay much because we don't pay at all, but you can be a part of the show.
Absolutely. So, did you find it, Fred?
No, I couldn't find it. He got a bunch of them in here, man. I don't know. I can't remember.
Let me tell you something. Our audience is off the chain, and I appreciate our audience. You know what I'm saying? Because that's our people. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up then. Y'all, we appreciate y'all. Remember, fuck that bullshit. If they got bullshit out there, you ain't trying to fuck with, don't fuck with it.
Don't fuck with it.
Don't fuck with the bullshit. Stay in the game. Stay strong. Black power. Don't forget your black power. And black
power. Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever. Y'all have a good night. We appreciate y'all. See you next week. All right.